We hit the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. I have 7 overreactions, some with our baseball team and some just with the crazy stories across baseball. My focus is on the D, and we've got new drops to help segue. Each one of these is going to get progressively bolder as we go through the overreactions. The first one, the AL Central race is over. I say this even as the Tigers have dropped 4 in a row, their longest streak of the year. They're still up 11.5 games, double the second largest division lead in all of baseball. Everybody else is below 500, and the selling is right around the corner. I know Tom's with me. Will John?
I am not there yet.
Okay.
And to me, it's just a mindset. And I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, this is all wrapped up. It's nice, clean, neat. It's done, because there still needs to be pressure on this team.
But there is. You're chasing a 1 seed, a 2 seed, all
I know,
that
but
stuff.
that's not always. It should be front of mind. It's a little bit different when it is, hey, I'm chasing, or I'm trying to stay ahead of the Blue Jays or the Yankees or the Astros versus somebody in your division. I wish there was another team in this division that was better, that was making a move, so that there was some pressure in division to keep this lead.
All right, this is not an overreaction. I'm with Jim. The division race is over. They will win the AL Central. The only team I can see maybe making a move, and I've still been on them all year long, is the Royals. If they can get a little bit more hitting, they've got a better ERA than the Tigers. Second best pitching in all of baseball, the Royals. That is the one little thing that has me kind of, but look, the Tigers are 1 over 500, as Jim just said, since June, and they've gained ground.
That's so terrible. I love it.
The NL West race is over. The second largest lead in baseball. The Dodgers should add at the deadline. The pitching staff is getting healthy. I'm comfortable saying that division's over.
They're only 5.5 up.
Padres and Giants looming.
Yeah.
But I think the Dodgers are better.
Oh, there's no question. That's not the question.
Well, the better in baseball will hold serve with a 5.5 game lead and an addition at the deadline.
If
you can say it confidently.
If their pitching staff gets healthy and remains healthy.
Even if it doesn't, they got a 5.5 game lead with no pitching. What's it going to look like when they have pitching?
Again, I'm not saying that a team with an 11.5 lead, that race is over. I'm certainly not going to say it with a team that's gone 3-7 in the last 10, that they've got it locked up. You would think so. They're the best roster in Major League Baseball. I don't think there's any debate about that.
This is not an overreaction. This thing's over. The Giants had their chance this weekend to make it a little bit tighter. Jim's right. No matter if their pitching can blow and their lineup is so potent that they're just still going to end up winning this division. And they usually take off in the second half of the year after the All-Star break.
But we do have more of these than I realized. The Rockies will break the record for most losses in modern baseball history. It was set a year ago by the Chicago White Sox with 121. They're pacing for 125, and I know you're thinking, didn't they settle down after a slow start? Well, they lost 7-9 going into the All-Star break. They've committed the most errors in baseball, allowed the most earned runs in baseball, and their bats lead all of baseball in strikeouts. They are destined for history.
And their run differential is minus 253. That blows my mind that a team could be that bad at the All-Star break. I don't think this is an overreaction at all. I agree with this. I think they will break the record. This is a terrible team. And as you get closer to the end of the season, those guys, their bags are packed. If they sell any good parts that they have,
the few they have,
it only gets worse.
This is an overreaction. I've seen many a team in my life threaten this record, and then nobody ends up doing it. The wisdom from the 2003 Tigers tells me the Rockies will have enough pride late in September to muster up enough wins to get the 42. Think about that, 42 and 120. Oh, my. So they got to win 20 out of their last 66. I know that seems
daunting.
Yeah. But they'll find a way because other teams have always found a way.
Thanks, Ken Maeda.
Hey, bring him back for the pen.
The Tigers will not make the World Series if they stand pat at the deadline. There is simply not enough swing and miss in this bullpen. When Benetti's talking about it, you know we reached a critical mass. 30th in swing and miss out of this bullpen. And by the way, there's also too much swing and miss at the plate themselves. They won't even make the World Series if they stand pat.
I think this is an overreaction. I want them to add at the deadline. I think they will. I'm not sure they'll add as much as we want them to, but I trust this team, and especially when you narrow it down. I mentioned Kiner Montero. I think he should be a part of the postseason roster, and you could use him as a long reliever. I think that they are good enough to make it to the World Series. I'm not predicting that they will or that they'll win the World Series. I still think they add, but if they don't, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, they can't. They're no longer a viable team.
This is not an overreaction. They have to add a bullpen arm. It's just, like I said, it'd be criminal if they don't. They look like once they get to a 7-game series, they would lose. I don't think they, as is, can get past the ALCS right now.
Yes, I was rooting for Western Michigan. Yes, I'm happy for Western Michigan. How could you not?
There's edits in there, aren't there? That sounded a little
awesome.
Some creative liberties from Greg.
Oh, my goodness, that's awesome.
These next 3 are spicy. I think the first 4 I handed out were actually pretty tame. These next 3, I think, are another level of bold. Cal Raleigh will break Aaron Judge's AL home run record, which is set at 62. He is pacing for 64. He hit 300 the last 2 months. He's been consistent. 10-plus bombs every month. Raleigh's got the goods to do it.
I think that he can. I don't think that he will. And here's the reason why. In 162 games, if he was just a DH, yeah, I think it's possible. Because he's a catcher, I think you get to the end of the season, legs get a little bit more tired. I just don't know that he's going to be consistent enough in that final month to be able to surpass what Aaron Judge did with 62.
So I think this is an overreaction because they have 66 games left. He has hit 25 home runs in 66 games. I know he's been great so far, but that I just don't see somebody doing that. I think you have to be an Aaron Judge type guy.
He's out hitting Aaron Judge right now.
I know, but in this season, I just don't know for an entire season. Isn't it hard to see Cal Raleigh being the all-time AL home run king?
I would love to see it. I
think they'll DH him more to try to.
I think so as well. Yeah, to try and get more out of him.
It's the proper thickness and length. I'll pause to allow some John laughter. Yes.
What are you talking about?
I don't even know at this point. Pete Crow-Armstrong will join the exclusive club of 40-40. Only 7 have ever done it, but we've seen it in back-to-back seasons. It's becoming more common. Ronald Acuna and last year was Shohei Ohtani. He's pacing for 42 homers and 45 stolen bases. He leads the National League in WAR. That's right, even more than Shohei. It's rare. Will we see it?
I don't think we're going to see it.
Will he fall short? Which one? The power?
The
or
home
speed?
runs.
Okay.
I think he'll get there with the stolen bases. I just don't see him being a guy that's he's at 25 right now. Can he hit 40 home runs? Absolutely.
He plays every single day.
Yeah.
Young player.
Yeah, I think this is an overreaction too, and I'm with John. Same thing. It's the homers.
Yeah.
Stolen bases, I think he'll get there easy, and you can control that too. I mean, that's something you can go for late in the year, but home runs are home runs still, and he's got to hit 15 in just over 60 games. That's one every 4 games. That's a lot.
He's a huge threat anytime he's at the plate, and I think we don't see it as much as we did, obviously, with Barry Bonds and some of the other power hitters where you just get walked all the time. But I think there are some situations because the Cubs are who they are and where they are in their division that they're not going to want to pitch to Pete Crow-Armstrong.
By the way, do you know who's in the 40-40 club? I'll just trivia fact for people. Acuna, Ohtani, Alfonso Soriano, Sean Green, Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, and Jose Canseco.
Some of those guys were roiding.
You don't say. In addition to being a creep, he's a moron.
Reportedly.
It's been over 7 years. Can't we just leave out allegedly or reportedly at this point?
Tarik Skubal is the best pitcher to throw for the Tigers in the 25-year history of Comerica Park. Yes, more dominant than even Justin Verlander. Skubal has a higher strikeout per 9, lower walk per 9, better ERA, and better whip than Verlander's best season for the Detroit Tigers. And if you're into FIP, which takes out the randomness of your defense, he's a full run better than JV's MVP season. Doesn't mean he's going to win the MVP, but he's the most dominant pitcher we've seen at Comerica Park.
I think over a year and a half, yeah. Over the course of, this has still yet to be written. We know what Justin Verlander did, and we know how many years he did it for at Comerica. I'm not ready to say it's 1A, 1B, and he could be better than Verlander. I'm not ready. I think this is an overreaction at this point.
This is a barely overreaction because I was looking at that 2011 season, and JV won an MVP, a league MVP. Has Tarik Skubal done that? No.
Does that mean you're
better?
But
it could be written out. You count it. This is just half a season. JV did it for a full season. Mm-hmm. Not to think that Skubal won't do it. JV had 2 no-hitters. I think that's my deal breaker right now. I go barely, so therefore it has to be an overreaction.
Those are your first half MLB overreactions. It's 97-1.